Welcome back, Walking with Purpose.
My name is Claudia.
My name is Laura.
And today we're just going to close this season off, season 1, with a few questions that Laura has prepared.
Yes. Hopefully these questions also make you think and analyze your life yourself. These are personal questions for yourself to think over and just maybe to jot down. You can start journaling with these questions as well. The first question I have is, have you had an experience which made you believe it was God?
Any answer?
I have one that happened recently, about a month, 2 months ago, the most. This is very. I feel like this was a treat from God to me. It was on a Sunday. It was on a Sunday. We went. My boyfriend and I went to go get some coffee and donuts at Dunkin' Donuts, and I paid. I remembered I paid because I took out my card and I received the receipt, and it was about $22. And I don't know, 2 days later, I was going over my bank statement in my app, and I was like, just checking to see, every now and then check your account. And I didn't see the transaction for that day. I didn't see it. It was $22. I'm like, wait, I don't have nothing charged on Dunkin' Donuts. And then I asked my boyfriend, I was like, hey, do you remember, this day that we went to go get coffee and donuts? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it was me who paid, right? I'm like, it was me that paid, right? He's like, yeah, it was you. I'm like, check your bank statement. Maybe we switch cards and you paid. And he's like, okay. He pulled out his phone and he starts checking, right? There was nothing charged on his name. But I was like, wait, but I remember that we went and got coffee and I paid. And then I was like, that's nice. Okay. I'm like, God wanted me to have coffee and donuts that day. Yeah, and it's very rare when the things like that happen to me. When I get treats, usually it's always experiences or a lesson that I need to learn. But I was like, for once, God gave you a little break. He said, okay, she's done enough. So I found that was very curious, and I was just okay. I guess I need that coffee though.
No, yeah, sometimes I feel like God works in those ways too. Like when it comes to you wanting something, or maybe a stranger going up to you and giving you a little note, or hey, how are you?
A nice gesture. Yeah. I found that was a nice gesture from God. And this was when I was started recently getting to reading the Bible and getting to connect with God. I guess God was like, okay, she's been a good girl with me, so I'm gonna treat her this time.
She's been obedient.
Yeah, I've been very obedient. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I found that really, really nice. Because usually when people talk about God, it's all these lessons and all these, every now and then blessings. But gestures like that, personal gestures like that, I kind of never hear stories about that. So I was really happy, and I was I was very excited when I saw it like that. I was like, okay, I'm not going to question it. It was you. You can do that whenever you want. Anything for you?
I think the gesture that we did when we went to the Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You need to tell the story. Yeah, I was shocked too. Yeah. Go ahead.
So
tell the story.
Last week. Last Saturday, we were invited by some friends to Galentine's, and I wasn't gonna do anything say little. I did some note cards, and we put a Bible verse on them.
Yeah.
And it was just random Bible verses, I was just just write random stuff, not random, but something that has
that stood out to you. And I didn't know any of the girls, and you knew
I only
few,
knew
right?
a few, because they were my classmates, and so I had no connections with them like that, besides school. But the rest of the girls were my classmates' family, so I didn't know what they were going through.
Yeah.
I didn't know, what they needed. So yeah, I felt like God put in my heart, that I needed to do this gesture, right? And so I got up early that Friday and I went and I bought the stuff and I did everything. And then the day that we get there, it was just like, you know, like, something happened and I was just like, well, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Like, let's just
yeah.
But I don't know, like
we had a little tiny bad experience that it threw our evening off.
Yeah.
Because we were also planning on shooting a podcast with the girls that day, and it was like something experience. Well, it's like a random experience that I think anyone could like happen to, yeah. But it kind of threw us, and we were like, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't like do this anymore.
Yeah, like I felt like it was just like, well, maybe like it's not the right time to like talk about God, and you know. And so yeah, I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this. I was telling Laura, like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, let's just go. Let's just go. Like, I don't want to do it. But for some reason, we stayed, and you know, the craziest thing was that a timer went off, and I think it was like 9 o'clock, right?
I think so. I don't remember. Yeah, somebody's alarm.
Someone's timer went off, and it was
like, the person hosting.
The hosting, yeah. And her timer went off, and she was like, "Everybody, be quiet." And so I turned around, you know, because we were sitting in the couch. And she was like, I need to pray.
Yeah, this is my time to pray.
This is my time to pray. Like, everybody bowed their heads.
And we both turned around and looked at each other. We were like, what?
Yeah, we were like so shocked. And I was just like, what? Like, I couldn't, you know, like,
yeah, we were processing. Like, yeah, I was processing what was just going on. And she did her prayer. Yeah, and then we were like, this is the sign.
Yeah, so then she did her prayer. And when she was done, I got up from my seat. And I was like, hey, guys, like, I want to do something. Like, I came here with something to give you guys, and you know, so I did. And so every single girl that was there, it was maybe like a little over 20 girls.
Yeah.
I gave them the envelope with the flower, and maybe I'll put like a little clip here of what it looks like. But yeah, so I gave them each the envelope, and they opened it one by one, and they started reading what it said. And it was crazy because like every single one
reaction,
of them, like was just like I needed to hear this, or I needed to see this, or this was for me, or this verse has been following me for so long. And it's just
keep in mind, we have no relation to these girls. It was our first time meeting them, and to see the reaction after they read, and because they chose the envelope, they had to pick one, and to see their reaction, it was priceless. It was like, wow, God works in mysterious ways. He connects. He has us connecting with people that you would probably never connect in your daily life. And that's like the beautiful way of God working, using us as instruments to connect with other people, because we don't know what the other person is struggling or going through, or, you know, if the other person needs like words to like comfort what they're going through. And that was like a really sweet gesture. I was just like, wow, I was shook.
And I guess, like, what I got out of it was, like, that, you know, Yahweh is God, you know, like, he does what he wants, and he touches, and he uses whoever he wants, you know. Like,
yeah.
Who are, like, we, and, like, I feel like I was kind of like, well, you know, I don't know, you know, but it's like, if he uses me, why can't he use someone else? And it's, like, the thing is that I feel like, because, like, I used to do wrong, and I used to, like, live a certain way, and I used to, like, I felt like I wasn't close to God in the sense, like, I wasn't really spiritual, you can say. But that doesn't matter. Like, if your heart is accordingly to His, He's going to use you. Or He's going to talk to you. Or even if you feel like you're like, oh, like, you know, I'm too bad, or I'm
you're doubting yourself.
God doesn't see that. I feel like He uses the weakest, you know, not the weakest, but, like, because we're not weak. But, like, he uses the smallest, you know, like, to make them bigger. You know, he will exalt the ones who are, you know, who think they're small and that they can't do anything. And he will put down those who think that they're high. Like,
the opposite.
I feel like he's just amazing. I feel like that, I was going to forget that, but it was good. Like, that's one of the instances where I'm like, okay, you're so real. Like,
yeah, it makes you like, oh, that's you. That's you. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a bad experience at the beginning, but then later on, the evening got better, and we were like, oh, wow. Like, us thinking that we were gonna, like, leave and not go in the party was crazy. I'm happy we stayed.
Yeah, me too. Because it was like, when you're faced with that, like, adversity, you're just like, never mind, like, I'm gonna go. But it's like in those instances where, like, I feel like God puts in you like a spirit of resilience, and you're like, no, like you have to do something here.
Yeah.
Because it's not that God is going to go to the places where people are like, oh, like we're all good, whatever. No, like He's gonna go meet with those who are like
who are in need of Him. Yes. Yes.
And I guess that I was forgetting that.
Yeah. It's like He said in the Bible to, I don't know, the prophets, when they were like, oh, well, people who go to hospitals it's not because they're healthy, it's because they need, the hospital. Same with the church. When we go to church, it's because we need to heal, we need to connect with Him. It's not because we're good and we follow Him. It's because we need Him in order for us to like change our lives to God's image. And it's crazy. Yeah,
that's a really good experience.
Yeah, like these are the moments where I live for. Like, okay, it's not me.
Yeah.
Because if it was my toes, I would be like, let's go. I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It was beautiful. I feel like God did His thing. And
at the end of the evening, we were happy. Yeah. Next question is, who was the first person to ever plant a Jesus seed in your life?
I feel like my aunt and uncle.
Yeah, uncle.
Because they're the ones who like. So me, like my relationship with my tia, like I'm really close to her. Like since I was little, like me and my brother, like we used to like always be at her house. Like her and my mom were so close. Like they are really close.
Yeah.
Distance. But yeah, like she started going to church with her husband first, and I would go to like with them, like because it would take me in.
Yeah.
And just like hearing them, and like sometimes like they would pray over me, and I feel like those are like the little moments that that impacted me. Even though I was little, like I didn't really understand what was going on, but somehow their words like came to I guess like who I am now.
Yeah, you understand them now that you're old. For me, I think I would say my mom. Like she would always take us to church on Sundays, and she would always like, because we had to do our first communion and our confirmation, our sacraments. I am from a Catholic background. I feel like my mom. Cause even she says that, she's like, I know you guys were always going, to church all tired and mad because you guys, that's not what, well, kids, obviously, we don't want that. We want to, like, sleep in and play and whatever. And I feel like that. My mom. Yeah. Yeah. But now that I'm going, I have to plan without somebody else. Next question is, what has been your biggest struggle since surrendering?
Oh no. I feel like my biggest struggle since surrendering, I feel like it would be like self-control, and my thoughts.
Your thoughts?
Because self-control, I say, because there's sometimes where I want to do things my way still, and it's like, I shouldn't, because I already, once you make a mistake, you can't keep repeating it.
Yeah.
It's gonna bring the same thing. And I feel like my thoughts is like, I sometimes, I doubt God. Not that I doubt His power or that I doubt who He is, but it's like, I feel like, oh, like, God, like, this is like on me. Like, I can't, put it on you, or like, I want to fix it myself, or maybe like I don't really believe what He says about me, but it's like, I feel like people say like, oh, but you're a believer, like you can't have those thoughts, but I'm still human.
Yeah,
like, I still get those thoughts where I'm like, well,
we still have those internal battles, like, oh,
like, are you really gonna come through it for me this time, or like, oh, like, or I messed up too bad, like He's not going to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. But I feel like those are just like the negative thoughts that like the enemy puts in your mind, because at the end of the day it's all about your mind. Your mind, like He plays with your mind, and He wants to make you think like that God doesn't see you, or that that you're, just because you messed up so bad, that God can't pick you up from where you are right there. But I feel like it would be self-control and just like keeping my mind aligned to God, like I am chosen, I am yours, you chose me since before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you knew the plans you had for me, and you knew what I was going to do. You knew that I was going to fall over and over again, but you still picked me up. You still cleaned me up, and you took me back home.
Wow.
You?
Me? For me, overall this year is for me to let go and let go. Because mine is controlling. Because I feel like I've been put in a position since I was like very young that I have to take care of people, that I have to make decisions for other people. You know, always putting myself last in a way. So for me, it's like self-care for myself. Because if I want others to be cared for, I need to care for myself as well. And yeah, just putting it all to God. Asking God every day, like, whatever I need or whatever I want or whatever, like, to show me, like, give me an answer, like, give me a choice or this is not the right choice. And, like, not to overthink it a lot as well. And just be like, okay, you know, just flow. I want to flow this year with the circumstances or whatever is being thrown at me. I think.
Like, I want you to lead my boat.
Yeah. This year I'm just like, okay, you're the sailor. You're take me wherever you want me to go. Like, last year, by the end of last year, I got to the point where I was just tired. I was just tired of feeling sad, depressed, all these negative like feelings. I was just tired. I got to the point where I was just tired, and I was just like, you know what, God? Like, is this all that there is for my life? Like, I don't want this. I don't want, like, for the rest of my life to be just sad, depression, anxiety, like, overthinking things. Like, I don't want that. I'm tired of living like that. And I want peace. I want to feel love. I want to feel happiness. I want to have the happy feelings, you know, the positive feelings now for once. Like, I feel like throughout my life, I've been feeling, you know, I've been on autopilot. So I was like, no, like, I'm done. Like, I need you. Take me, you know? So, yeah.
And I feel like, you know, those are like the instances where like God can work better when we realize that, you know, like, hey, like, I don't want to be like this anymore. Like, I don't want to feel this anymore. Like, can you take over? Like,
yeah. My experience was like that. Was like, I'm done. Like, if this is all you have for me, take me. Like, take me now. I don't want to feel like one more ounce of sadness. You know, I don't. But if there's something better for me, take control. Like, I want you to take control and show me what's better for me. Oh my, you're gonna make me cry. Like, yeah, I got to the point where I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this alone. I'm tired of always fighting for others. I'm always tired of fighting over my mind because, like you said, mind is very powerful. And you can get all these, like, negative thoughts, and then, like, sometimes our only enemy is us as well. One against one, because we doubt ourselves so much, and we're not confident enough in ourselves.
Yeah. But I feel like everyone has felt that at one point. And I feel like the thing that has been helping me a lot with like self-doubt and like, you know, God, do I really deserve this? Or like, you know, sometimes like, I wouldn't say self-hatred, but sometimes you get to that point where you just don't like yourself anymore.
Yeah, you get up in the morning and you're like, who is that?
Yeah.
You start recognizing who that person is, and it's like, what? Like, in what moment did I lose myself, you know? And yeah, that's when Jesus comes in. It's like, okay, girl. Yeah.
It's like that. I don't know if you heard about the Jesus glow. You know that.
Oh, the Jesus glow. I started seeing that, and I'm like,
and I that is true because like
I didn't know about that.
I feel like once you say the words, you know, God, like, help me.
Yeah.
You don't have to pray a long prayer. You don't have to talk like oh my God, like the sabios, you know, the wise people. No, like God is not looking for that, you know. He just wants you to say, open your mouth and say, you know, I need you. Like, I surrender every problem, every doubt, everything to you. Do as you please. And it's not even about religion. Because religion is so overrated. Like, let me tell you guys, like, religion is just like rules. Man-made rules that, you know, to keep people separated from the reality of who God is. And, you know, because God, He just asks for relationship.
Yes.
It's just relationship. Like you would have a relationship, me and her have a relationship. It's like that. It's like I'm talking to her, but I'm talking to my maker. You know, it's like yes, He has, you know, the only rules that if you really want to keep rules and you want to keep the laws, look at the Bible. Those are the only rules that you should be following. Yeah, and obviously, you know, we live in a society where we have a government and we have those rules. Yes, and in one instance, Jesus, they asked Jesus, you know, like, oh, so we shouldn't pay.
Oh yes, yeah.
His dues, like. Is that what you're trying to tell us? No, Jesus didn't come to abolish the law. He didn't come to change anything. You know, He told him, He's like, oh, well, whose face is in that quarter? Whose face is in that?
Caesar's face.
Caesar's face. So pay him what he needs to be paid. But then, you know, pay your tithes, you know, do, you know, what, you know, your relationship with God is, you know. It doesn't mean, you know, go around and be so radical that you're, like, causing problems, because it's not that. You know? You act with love and you act with peace, and I feel like that's the difference between like religion and a relationship with God. Yeah. That it shouldn't be so divided. It's just, you know,
or complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like society has made like a relationship with God complicated by all these religions, and it's not. It's just like you said, it's a relationship. It's like your best friend. It's like a person that's never gonna judge you, never gonna look you the wrong way. Like, go to him when you're happy, sad, depressed, anxiety, like whatever is on your mind to make a decision, like whatever is in your mind and your heart, and yeah, he'll be there for you regardless. Like, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter, you know, how you've lived your life, he's there.
Yeah, and the word says that he is a father. So yes, expect love from him, that unconditional love, because the outside people who don't know him, they're gonna give you conditional love with conditions. But for those who know, don't just believe, but who know God, because there's a difference. You can believe in God, but do you know Him?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and I've been asking myself, like, do I know God? And I feel like it's by your fruits. You will know by how you are and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like when I love, it's unconditional. I don't put conditions or stuff like that, you know, like I said, like, you can do something to me, you can hurt me, but I will still love you, and I don't understand why. Like, it's just like, it's
yes.
so crazy. Like,
and I even asked you too, like, why are you so nice? They're like so mean to you, and I sometimes I'm the bad influence here, but it's like she's so kind, she's so nice, and I'm like, but get them back, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that no more.
And I don't know, and I feel like it's that unconditional love, because like my father, you know, God, and my dad too, you know. Well, like, I felt like he's been showing me that unconditional love since the start, and I felt that's what made me fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Because there were no restrictions. There were no, oh, if you do this for me, or, you know, if you give me this. Like, I didn't have to give, you know, my body.
Exchange.
I didn't have to give, you know, exchange anything. I didn't have to change who I was.
Yeah.
For him. Little by little, he was changing me, and I feel like that's the
wow. That's nice. Like, for me, I've always loved unconditionally as well. I've always given my all, but like I said, experiences, people make you change otherwise. And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done giving it my all, because people are just so cruel. But then I'm like, right now, I'm like, okay, I'm Jesus' daughter now, so I'm God's daughter. I have to give all love, no hate. And it's a work in process. For some, like, for you, I find it's so easier for you to give that love unconditionally. But because, like you said, you've always experienced that.
And it is hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it is hard. Like, trying not to have resentment in your heart. And, like, you know, to those who hurt you, because, like, you know, sometimes people are awful, and they tell you they're awful, but I don't know why it's like these thoughts in my head, or, you know, God, I don't know, but, you know, it's just like, well, if you were to do that, I would still love you.
Yeah.
You know, or like if, you know, I don't know, like
you start to think, you start to like see it in a different perspective, seeing it from God's perspective.
Yeah, and sometimes like I guess like that can get people mad because like I said like I try to get mad and like be mad, but I can't. I don't know why. It's just it feels so heavy.
Yeah.
The heaviness of that resentment, like I just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I carry that with me, I won't feel the freeness that God gives you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it is a process, and it's really hard, you know, for some people. And I feel like it's just like a process that God works with you. Yeah. But I had to understand that. Because I felt like at some point, like I did have resentment, like towards my parents, you know, my biological dad, my stepdad, and my mom. Like I just was just like resenting them, but I felt like I had to let that go because at the end of the day, like I felt like the love.
It's you that's feeling those feelings, not the other person. So it's that's why it's gonna affect you as a person directly more than the other person. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. What do you feel God is teaching you right now in your personal walk with Him?
Do you want to answer that?
What is He teaching me? I feel after the experience that we had with Saturday? The girls, on Saturday, I feel that that's like an eye opener for me to like not be afraid to connect with people. Because I've always considered myself an introvert. I'm not a people person. Like I know, but then Jesus was a people person. Like how would people know about Him if He wasn't out there? Like what is it? Like putting Himself out there for people to know Him and to like know His love and everything. So how do I expect for people to like have love and all these like nice feelings if I'm not out there to show them and to, you know, give it to the people who need it? So that was an eye opener. I think that was like, girl, you need to be a people person now because I need you to spread the love. And I felt like that. I need to be more exposed, which is very I'm not in my comfort zone because, like I said, but I have to work on that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big thing for a lot of people too, because like they're so used to like being like in their own circle.
Yes.
You know? But it's like, okay, you know, you're doing the work for yourself and, you know, going closer to God, but like you have to offer something for someone else, you know, because God is coming soon. Like there's time is ticking, and it's like, you know, I know you guys heard this a bunch of times, you know, Jesus is coming back, blah blah. But it's like I feel like God is giving everyone a chance to surrender and to like, because He's a Father. I don't think He wants anyone to, you know, perish and die and like not exist anymore. Like I feel like He's trying to reach as much, you know, as possible and trying to take people out of like their comfort zone, you know, because like there's something that you need to do for His kingdom, you know. There's a special something that God has put in you so that you can share it with other people, so that you can help people feel, so that you can share your story and help, you know, someone else that might need or that, you know, might come through the same thing as you did. Like there's something special that you specifically, Laura, has to do.
I know. You know? Yeah, and that's my question that I've had lately with Him. It's like, what do you want me to do? Like, how are you going to use me? Like, what am I here for? Like, how do you want me to proceed after learning all this from you? Like, okay, now I've, you know, nurtured myself with all this knowledge that I didn't know, like all these new things. Like, what do I do with all this? I know I have to apply it in my life as well and apply it with my family. But outside of that, you know, what do I do? Yeah. So, yeah, that's been my question since the beginning of the year.
What was the question?
It's like, is this, what do you feel God is teaching you right now in your life? What about you?
It's teaching me like I feel like He is teaching me how to walk in obedience.
Obedience.
You know?
Okay.
Because I can be disobedient a lot of times. Because, like, you know, it's easier to do it my way, you know?
Oh,
But,
okay.
like, shortcut, you know,
Yeah.
the process. And I feel like God has been taking me through a desert, you know, through like a desert. But one thing that I've like heard, and it's like, I'm like, well, but why are you taking me through this? Like, you know, why do I have to experience these feelings? Like, I haven't had enough, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like He's been taking me through the desert to make me fall in love with Him again. You know? Like,
Yeah.
te llevaré al desierto para que te vuelvas a enamorar de mí.
Yeah, I read that, and that hit too because I was like, oh,
Yes.
how many times have we been in the desert?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, like I thought that I did love you, but it's like no, like I felt like I was telling you earlier, like I tend to give little pieces of me to people because I'm scared, like that if I don't feel like safe or like if I don't feel like okay, like lay it all down.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you little pieces. And I felt like I didn't know that I was doing that to God. Like I didn't know that I was just giving Him little pieces of me. But I was like, well, I don't want to do that. Like I want to give you. If you're giving me everything, like I want to give you my whole heart. And I feel like that's something that He's teaching me, how to give Him, how to trust Him with something that's so like precious to me. Because I feel like my heart is really precious for me. You know, like I feel like that's me trusting that He's gonna take care of that. You know. For me instead of me trying to protect myself all the time. I feel like that's one thing that He's trying to show me that.
But I also feel like God also teaches us, like in case we ever get hurt again, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna protect ourselves?
My hands.
No, that was the old you. But like have you ever thought about that? Like if you were now that you know God, now that you have gotten like more presence in your life, and this is something that it just came to my head right now. And if you were, God was like, okay, you're gonna relive every single thing that you have done, everything that's made you happy, you know, hurt, but with me this time, would it be different?
Yeah. I feel like if I was to be close like I am with Yahweh right now and going through those things, I don't think that I would allow.
Would you change the decision?
Certain scenarios, because it's like it's not what I feel, you know, in the moment, because my feelings are deceiving, right?
Okay.
And it's like if I'm following you, then I should have the standards to what you tell me, you know. What I should be doing and not go by what my feelings tell me, because again, like my heart is only going to desviarme, like take a turn from detour from like what you have planned out for me. And sometimes I feel like because of the rushing and I just want to like settle down right now, or like I want to do this right now and just get it over with. It's where like
that's where we messed up.
Yeah. And it's like if you do it right now and if you go this too quickly, you know, then
it's the rush of having the experience and the rush of living life.
Yeah, like you're not gonna learn what I needed you to learn. Yes. You know. And I feel like, you know, if we talk about like relationships, like I feel like if I were to do it the right way from the start, it would have had a different outcome. Yes. Because then I feel like the person would see like, well, you know, she is different, you know, like, then I should, you know, like maybe help her be different. Instead of like, just like, oh, it's okay, like he wouldn't mind, like, you know, God wouldn't mind, I can do this, and it doesn't matter. So I feel like that would be a different outcome, or like, you know, maybe that person would be like, you know what, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
And I would have.
Or maybe the person wasn't ready at the moment too.
Yeah.
Because we could have been ready, but what if the people in our life, past tense, like people, were they ready? I think that also affects our lives.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like everyone. It's like, because I feel like society is like that right now. Like you just get it over with. Like, you know, it's like
always in a rush.
Yeah,
like a checklist. Okay, did I get a husband? Check. Did I get, I don't know, kids? Check. Yeah. Did I go to school? Check.
And it's like the answer you want them right away because, technology, we have Google, I don't know this, I'm going to ask Google.
Yeah.
Can I get it right away? But God is not like that. God is like, hold on.
Imagine God be like, okay, guys, I'm going to give you a nap.
Yeah, but it's like that. I feel like if we don't sit in the stillness of the quietness of Him, it's just like, we need to understand that it's a process and we have to wait.
Yeah.
But sometimes waiting is better than receiving right away. Because what if we get the blessing, but we don't know how to act? We don't know how to act with it. We don't know how to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because and then we'll let it go because we didn't think it was like for us because we got it right away.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, what has been your favorite part about knowing Jesus?
My favorite part? I feel like my favorite part about like knowing Jesus would be like the experiences that I've had with other people.
How so?
I suppose I have like some crazy experiences that it's just like, what the heck? But there's like some crazy experiences with just like your love or your actions that you show. It's like, yeah, God is with them, and it's like that, I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's some instances where like I've prayed for people or people have prayed over me, and or like I meet people and it's like we click and it's just like, but we're talking about the word, and it's
okay, you instantly connect with the word of God.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, I don't even know you. But it's like that connection that we all have deep inside of us, and we have that. But
I
it's
feel like sometimes we're too afraid because we're like, oh my God, what is the other person going to say?
Yeah.
Then we're like, oh, I'm over here,
Like, you're talking Jesus, like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like, even if you were little and you went to church and you stopped going to church, the word is still instilled in you.
Yeah.
So the moment that you hear it, it's like, wait, it's like, hold on, I know this. And I feel like that's like those little, like, I feel like it's like a light bulb. Like every single person has that light bulb.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like how Jesus connects with all of us. And it's like those instances where I'm just like,
I feel like that's a way of Him having us connect with each other as well. Because to be honest, we've lost that connection between people.
yeah.
Because now it's like, I remember people would write notes, letters, or whatever, and now it's like, just text them or whatever. But we don't have that actual sit down type of moment. Like when you do go out, you see people on their phones. Yeah. It's like, what? No, it's like be present in the moment. That's when, yeah,
because you never know. I've pictured myself doing this, right? Like maybe this is just my crazy imagination, but like, what if like say you could be somewhere, right? You're eating, you're writing, whatever. You're at the library, you're at the coffee shop, whatever, and you're alone. But then someone just sits in front of you and it's like you're not even paying attention and they're trying to talk to you, but you're like so into whatever you're doing that you're just like, oh, whatever, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
But what if it was God sitting right in front of you and you never noticed? Or God sent that one person to talk to you or like to give you a word or like just to, comfort you. But you were so like busy on what you were
in your
thinking,
little world.
And it's like, God can do that too. But I feel like sometimes we're just...
And then you're like, oh my God, you didn't answer my prayer. Like, oh, hello? Well, were you aware? Were you aware of your surroundings? Like, or were you always like looking down, Has there been an experience with you where you've been mad with God? Or disappointed with God?
Very many times.
I feel that's okay too, because it's part of being in a relationship with the person.
Yeah. I felt like, I don't know if I shared this already, but when my dad got deported, I don't know if I shared that. My dad got deported, right, my freshman year of high school. My mom, I think like 3 years after she left, I think my first year of college, and she had gone, and just the whole like thing, like experience, like I was really mad, And so I feel like that's what started, like, resentment in my heart. Maybe not towards, like, my parents, but more towards God. Because I was like, well, if, you know, you're the creator, why couldn't you prevent this from happening? Like, you've done it before. You came through for my family before. Why couldn't you do it just one more time?
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like, I was like, you know what, God, like I feel like he turned his back against me. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the same to you. So that's what I did. I literally turned my back away from him. And I was like, you know what? You told me I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I was so abstinent to anything and everything.
Yeah.
Because my faith was that strong. You know, I wouldn't touch, I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't, you know, do the other things because my faith was that big. You know, I was like, if God tells me I shouldn't do this, then I'm not going to do this.
But that moment when
like this, like madness came inside me, and I let those feelings overtake my mind and my soul and my body, it was just like 360 Claudia. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever you told me not to do. Like, that was me. Like, I was being a rebel child. Like, I was being a bad child.
Yeah. Just because you didn't get
what I wanted
your way that one time.
And it was that one time where I was just like, see, this is why you should be spoiled.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I felt like that was my biggest downfall, I feel, for me. But even like through now that I see things back and look back, and I'm like, well, I try to make myself the ugliest person ever, like to the point where nobody would recognize like who I was. And even my friends, I mean, I had 4 really close friends, and they were like, well, Kalia, like, what's going on? Like, hey, you're not you. And they had always brought that to my attention, but I was like always like ignoring them, whatever, right? Well, if you don't want to hang out with me, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know? And so, but I didn't see that. You know, I was so caught up in my own like little hatred moment with like, God, stay with me.
Yeah.
But it's like, I would still go to church, and I was like, you know, but I wouldn't participate. Like, I would just go
You weren't there yet.
I wasn't, my relationship was gone with him. So it was like, you know, I was crazy. Girls, it was crazy. It wasn't, if you saw me, that wasn't me. I'm just kidding. It was me, you know, and that's the thing that I had to accept, you know, and I tell God, you know, like, I'm sorry. And it was really, really hard. Because even though like, I was doing the things wrong, and I was like, my back was turned against God, like, God was always there. Because there was a lot of instances where I could have been killed, where I could have been like kidnapped, where I could have been like dead. Like, there's so many things that I put myself in situations where like
the outcomes would have been different from till now.
But if it wasn't for it, I feel like my mom's prayers were always there. You know, like even though like she was away, like my mom had always prayed for us, and I felt like it was that protection that she would pray over us and stuff like that. That's why you should always pray for your loved one, because you don't know, you know, that, you know, just the words that you tell God is going to do for you. But, wow. A lot. Yeah.
Me? Oh my God, I've had so many. So many. But I feel the most that I remember that I remember this day, oh my God. I got back from work, I took a shower. I took like a 4-hour shower. But I wasn't even showering. I was just there in the bathtub, crying my eyeballs out and yelling. Literally, I was yelling in the shower because I had lost somebody very close to me. And I was very, very angry with God because I'm like, you put this person in my life after like a bad relationship. This person showed me how, like, the good sides of me, the better side of me, and then 7 years later you just decide to take this person away from me. And I was so angry, I was so mad, I was really resented towards God because I'm like, why do you take the good people? You know, like, why do you take the good people from my life and not take the bad ones from my life? And so it was a journey that I was mad with God for quite a while for that. And I felt that I was so mad at him because it also involved my kids. At that time I had my 2 oldest daughters. And just the fact that they had to go through that as well. I'm like, for me, I didn't mind because I was a grown person. But them, they were like little still. And like I felt that was very heartbroken for me. How to explain to kids that a person passed away and that, you know, life goes on and you have to move on. And I was so angry because I was like, how do I tell my kids this? Like, how do I explain this to them? Like, you're putting me in a situation where I don't even know what to do, what to say, and you don't even look into a future after something like that happens. Like, your whole world just collapses and closes and all you see is pitch black. Because, I don't know, you've got no more reasons to go on, move on. You don't want to move on. But life makes you move on because you have kids, you have, you know, family members that you love you. You have a job that you still have to like get up in the morning and go. But yeah, that was like biggest moment where I literally shouted to God. I was like, I don't like you right now. Like, why are you doing this to me? Yeah, I think that was my biggest one. Yeah.
I feel like it's in those like moments where like you don't see that, you know, you don't see God. It's just like He love.
Yeah, and you don't see God, and then you also let your feelings get in the way because you're feeling all these emotions. But yeah, yeah. So yeah. But now, you know, God and I had to talk about that, so we're good now. Yeah, I was like, okay, I get it now. Kind of.
Yeah, I know in time, like, He fills in those, like, those voids in your heart, you know, those, because they're scars, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I guess we can hold on to a verse where He says, like, you may not understand what I'm doing now, but you will.
Yes.
And it's hard when we don't know the whys or the whens, and, you know.
That's so true.
But it's faith, you know. Faith in trusting that God is going to tell you, you know, or show you, you know, the whys or the whens, but those are really hard, you know, processes and instances where people go through.
Like, we know people die. We know we're gonna die one day. We don't know when. We don't know how and what circumstances you're gonna be. Are you gonna prepare for that? I don't think nobody has ever prepared for that. Same as when you become a parent or when you become a wife or a husband. You have an idea, somewhat, but you don't know what to expect. Or there's situations where you go through and you're like, oh, what do I do?
How do you come with that instruction?
Yeah, it's like, oh, how do I turn this kid off? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and I feel like experiences like that happen, and now I see it. Like I was telling my mom the other day, like a while back, that after, like, you know, losing a loved one, it gives you a different perspective of life. You start to value life so much more. You start to value your like loved ones more, and you're so much kinder to your loved ones. Because now it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see this person again, you know. And you just like, for me, before this situation, I was very, like, my heart was very, it wasn't the sweetest heart. But because of the circumstances that I had gone through, I closed myself to love at a point. And after this, I was like, you know what, this is, no. Like, I don't know. Like, you never know if you're going to come back home or whatever. So, yeah, it just gave me an eye-opener that you need to be more kind. More present in the moments. To close off, what's your favorite Bible verse?
My favorite Bible verse?
Or something that's a daily reminder of you, like in the back of your head.
I would say it's in Psalms 23:4, and it says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil."
Oh, okay.
And I feel like, you know, I take it as in, like, you know, we are God's sheep. You know, He pastures us to green grasses, and He gives us what's good for us, right? And even though like we may go like astray sometimes, you know, be that sheep that goes running around, you know, to their own, you know, and find something else. Like his presence always goes with us. Like,
he's always there, like over our shoulder watching.
Yeah, like even like I said, like I put myself through like the various darkest places that I could ever imagine to be.
And now as a grown up, you're like, oh my god, would you be in there in that situation now as a grown up?
No, and I tried. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've tried being in situations like that, and it doesn't feel comfortable anymore.
But then back then, when you're younger, oh my, this is so cool. Yeah. Like, oh my god, yeah.
And it's now it's like I feel out of place because it's like
that's not you.
But yeah, he gives us hope. He gives us strength, and he is our shepherd. And another thing that I want to share is Jeremiah 1:5, and it says, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I chose you."
Ooh.
So it's like, you know, don't consider, you know, like the other things in life that go through, you know, that make you question who you are, your worth, because we are so special that even before our mothers, you know, knew that they were pregnant, even though our mothers were created, it's like God already chose you. He said, okay, Laura, this is gonna be you, and Claudia, this is gonna be you, and don't belittle yourself because I chose you. You know, I choose you every day. And another thing that, you know, I was looking at this week was that David. I think it's the book of Samuel, First Samuel. How, you know, in that time the king was King Saul, and at first King Saul, like his heart was connected with God, but after a while he got up to his head, you know, like, you know, riches, I guess, and just fame just got to him, and he thought that he could do it by himself. So his heart was not connected to God, so God left him. And you know, and when the prophet was sent, God sent the prophet to look for another king. He went to David's house, and his dad didn't think like, oh, it's David, he's small. Like, why is he hasn't even been in battle. Like, he just takes care of sheep. Like, why is he going to be a king? And the thing that like hit me most was when it says that Yahweh told the prophet, he was like, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. Yahweh doesn't look at things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but Yahweh looks at his heart. And,
wow.
And since that moment, I was just like, well, God, like, I want a heart that's according to you. Like David did. Like, David's heart was according to, you know, your heart. Like, he loved like you. He served, you know, like you. And I feel like I feel like God wants that. Like, he wants us to, like, love like him, you know? To have a heart like that's according to you. Because if God tells you that his heart is like, your heart is like his, I feel like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest,
like,
compliment. Yeah.
And when I was younger, the first church that I used to go to, my first pastor that I've ever had, like, I remember he came over our house and he started praying over us. And at this moment, I really didn't understand, you know, a lot of things still, but the one thing that, you know, God used him to talk to me was that he said that. He's like, your heart is according to mine. And I always have carried that with me, and I literally just remember this yesterday, and I was like, wait.
Now I understand why we're always so kind. And I'm over here being the bad influence, telling you, no, beat them. Oh my gosh.
No. But, you know, it's not like...
Guys, this is the reason why God, like, connects people. Oh my God.
What? I'm lost.
No, it's like...
I don't know, like I feel like I did forget about that though, like, for a while, like, I did. But I guess God's trying to remind me, you know, again, like, I chose you, you know, your heart is like mine. You know, but, you know, you have to act accordingly. You have to be obedient so that, you know, others can see that. So,
no, I'm telling you guys, God works in a very, very, very strange ways. He puts people in your life without you even knowing why you have them in your life, or how did you even get to meet them. Because lately I've been asking God, and now it's just clicking. That's why when you read that, I'm like, oh my God. It's like, and I've been saying this out loud too. Probably I've been like saying it like in a silly way, like, oh, because I've been telling my mom and the girls, like, oh, I want to be more in my feminine side. Like, I want to be, I want to be God's daughter. I want to be like this. I don't know, like, I picture myself like this, like, girl, like, in pink, and, like, I don't know. And this is what he's portraying to me. So, yeah. I want to be her.
No, I'm not perfect, guys. Like, I'm really not.
No, but you should, if you ever get a chance to meet her, oh my God. She yeah. Her heart is very pure.
You're gonna make me cry now.
No, it's true. It's true.
So glory to him, I guess. Because, I don't know. Like I said, I've been through stuff too, but at the end of the day, I feel like God has not let me be consumed by that. And I am really thankful for him because of that. He doesn't let me, like, even though I want to, like, let it consume me a bunch of times, like, I want to, if I were up to me, guys, I would run in my bed. Honestly, like, I would run in my bed, sleep.
Yes.
And, like, fall into that depression, and let those feelings consume me. But it's his unconditional love that wakes me up, that doesn't let me stay there, because it's his strength, honestly. It's not by your strength, but by his strength. And it's just, I feel like that's a beautiful thing. And it's beautiful to hear, like, that, God is still present in me, and that, my friend here, a really good friend,
oh my God, yes.
You can see that, and
I don't know. Sorry, guys. I get very emotional.
What's your favorite?
My favorite one is Corinthians 16:4. It says, "Do everything in love. Do everything with love." And I feel like in order for us to be like, because if you think about it, Jesus did everything with love. And if we're his image, why can we not do everything in love as he did? Because he helped, he cured the blind, he helped, the poor, and he never asked anything in return. Like, he never asked, like, oh, well, I'm going to charge you, I don't know, like $100 if you want to get your eyesight back. Yeah. And, like, nowadays, I think we've lost that in as humans, as persons. Like, we're willing to offer something, but what are you going to give me? Like, what's in it for me? What do I get? And also, sometimes we do things with love to the people we know, like our circle only, like our families, our friends. But what about the rest? They also need love. They also need to know what love is and what love looks like and what love feels like. So, like, just spread the love.
Yeah. With
kindness, with words, with gestures. I don't know, even a smile. If you smile at someone, you don't know what they're going through. I mean, they're probably having a bad day, and just, that smile, thinking of it, it's not even you smiling. Probably God smiling to them through you. Or saying a kind word, to them. That's love.
And love is... Well, thank you guys for watching.
That's all for today.
Our last episode of the first season.
It was a very emotional one.
But, we're not here to portray something that we're not, guys. And
yes.
This is real, like, God is so real. Our emotions are so real, and it's so freeing, to, like, be able to feel things. So, may God bless you guys. May God keep you guys. And hopefully you guys stick to the next season.
Yes.
And
keep following for more.
Email us, reach out to us, and I don't know, maybe you guys want to, sit down, have coffee together.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Email will be in the description box. So I don't know if you want to share your story, what you're going through, what your walk is, if you're struggling, that's fine. like I said, everyone's struggling. Like,
you guys need prayer. Also, like, email us or comment your prayer, what you have for a petition. I know that we'd be more than happy to pray over anything. Because praying for each other is another thing that we have to do. You know, when someone can't pray for you or you can't pray for yourself, just know that someone else is praying for you. You know, standing ground, you know, fighting your fight, you know, telling you how to please, you know, pick them up. Because there's a lot, you know, that has to be done. But thank you guys. My name is Claudia.
My name is Laura.
And this is Walking with Purpose Season 1.
Last episode.
Bye.
Bye.